Good afternoon. Welcome to the Santa Maria State of the City. It's always inspiring to see so many community leaders, business owners, and partners gathered together to focus on Santa Maria. It's my honor to introduce the leader who has dedicated years of service to our city and continues to champion opportunity, safety, and quality of life for all residents. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Alice Patino.
I want to thank you all for attending and showing an interest in our community and in our city. 5 of our department heads will also speak today, followed by the city manager, Dave Rollins. And I think you're going to get a really good idea of what goes on in Santa Maria. And even yesterday, we were going through this, and I called these different department heads different times of the week, but I'm still amazed about how much we do and what goes on here in Santa Maria. And what we do every day has a direct impact on the quality of life in Santa Maria because we work for the public. The state of our city is that we have a lot of things going on in Santa Maria. We must solve our budget challenge of expenses outpacing our revenues. We've always tried to keep that service, that level of service going for everyone in Santa Maria, and that level of service keeps costing us more and more, just like your daily household budget. Santa Maria continues to grow as a destination as more people choose to live, shop, and work here. As I go to different meetings in the county, and I will have a lot of the mayors from North County and say, hey, I'm going to go over to your Costco today to spend money, and I say, thank you very much. Spend as much as you like, because we love having you here. They prefer coming to our Costco than going down to Calita. So I in behalf of all the citizens of Santa Maria, I do thank them. So I do want to talk about some recent highlights and in housing and roads, and as we gear up for the future. We'll start with the highlights. These highlights are to give you a better perspective of how the city keeps you safe and improves the quality of life here in Santa Maria. People continue moving here. I run into people all the time, whether maybe it's at church, in the grocery store, maybe it's out having lunch, and people will say, we just moved here like 3 years ago, or we moved here 5 years ago, and I just love it here. One day I ran into a young man, and he was saying he and his wife had gone to Cal Poly. They loved it in San Luis Obispo. But you know, he said, when we started raising our family, we really, really liked it here in Santa Maria because it really gears a lot of the activities and a lot of things we do to families. Oh, I know, I was in Toyota that day, that's where it was, and he was talking about that because he said they had a playroom there when he came to have his car serviced, so his kids could play. More new businesses are moving in. Housing prices here are steady. Crime is trending down. School enrollment is stable, though we have too many students at each campus. Downtown revitalization is underway, and as you can see the downtown through our downtown specific plan, which has been going on for years and years and years, it's just really taking hold. We now have 33 city parks. So recently we opened up 2 new pocket parks, one on the northwest side of town and one on the northeast side of town. The new Japanese Community Center is nearing completion. We will be ready soon, and I have been in that building. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to be absolutely amazed. We broke ground on the future sports complex, and today Alex Posada and Dennis Smither were there at the Board of Supervisors to get the big check that they gave us, $1.5 million. I did ask the Board of Supervisors if they have any extra money laying around. We will put it to good use. One soccer field is $1 million. If you can think about that, $1 million. We're going to have restrooms, we're going to have tot lots there, we'll have parking. And to maintain it is almost that much a year. So it really takes a lot of money, but these kids are worth it. When you have a community where the median age is 29, you know we've got a lot of small people running around Santa Maria, and they love soccer, and so we have to give them that where they can play soccer. The library bookmobile reached more than 11,000 community members, nearly 218,000 visits to the library at different locations. The police department reestablished the gang suppression team. And I don't know if you've noticed lately, but we've just gotten more people that have guns, that shouldn't have guns. They're off the streets. We have more people that our gang suppression team has been able to take out and hopefully be incarcerated for a while. We have expanded the police mounted enforcement unit from 2 officers to 4. And this is all voluntary. Each officer owns and cares for their horse, and they help build trust in the community and strengthen community relationships. When we have the law enforcement night, the kids just love to see the horses. They come over there and they're just amazed with the horses, and so is the community, because we've never had that before. We hired additional fire inspectors, put into service an additional fire engine at Station 6 to enhance safety, implemented an annual medical examination program for the firefighting force, downtown permits issued for the former Sears Adaptive Reuse and Perlman Apartments. If you've noticed, there's a lot of work going on at the old Sears building. It's going to be El Super Market, and there will be retail up above. About $1.4 million in CDBG grants issued for the sports complex, and a wide range of nonprofits supporting youth, disabled adults, the unhoused, and more. We have received 2 national budgeting awards, and I know that probably doesn't mean a lot to some of you, but the recognition that we get is important because we know that we're doing the right thing. We successfully implemented phase 1 of the city's new Workday Enterprise Resource Planning System. And when I first got that on my computer, I thought, okay, I've been hacked. So I had to call my secretary and said, I do this periodically, what is this? I think I've been hacked again. The city attorney, in coordination with work done by code enforcement and the police department, has prosecuted 164 of misdemeanor code violations in order to keep our city safe. The city attorney represented the police department in numerous gun violence restraining orders to keep guns out of the hands of criminals. We are able to expand critical infrastructure at the landfill. We've initiated weekly organic collections for residential customers. 2 years ago, our Neighborhood Connect portal went live. This is a convenient way for our residents to report non-emergency issues to the city. I was talking to a woman just last week that had been telling other people, hey, you can just report it. You don't have to call City Hall. You just get online and report it. We have produced more bilingual communications through videos and social media. Downtown revitalization is underway, and it's looking better every day. You know, on the corner of Main and Broadway, and they had it covered up for so many months, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I hope that when they uncovered it, it really looks nice, because the suspense was really growing, I think, among a lot of people. The American Airlines will begin twice daily nonstop flights between Santa Maria and Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport starting tomorrow. You will have access to 250 departures to more than 100 destinations with convenient connections from Santa Maria and the world. Building activity remains very strong. A year ago, our community development department was averaging a permit issued every 51 minutes and 2 housing units permitted every working day. The building is going on in Santa Maria, in Santa Barbara County. Through August, we issued 1,814 permits since January, with a valuation of $101.7 million, and did 10,562 inspections. That compares to 1,700 permits at the same time in a 9-month span a year ago, with a valuation of $72 million. The new Hope Motors dealership at Bradley Road in Battles is taking shape, and we've been told that maybe April of 2026 it'll be open. The Betaravia Plaza Apartments, 443 units near the police department, are being built. And if any of you were at the car show last weekend, you would see that all the framing has gone up. There'll be more than 35 buildings. The grading and site preparation is underway for the future, the Plains of Fame Air Museum on Corsair Drive, right next to the Radisson Hotel. This will include 4 aircraft hangars totaling near 200,000 square feet. They've already poured the concrete for the foundation. And then housing. The city is working towards meeting its most recent state-mandated regional housing needs allocation of 5,418 new units between the year 2023 and 2031. And that includes 1,032 new units for those very low incomes, 536 for low-income families, 731 units for moderate, and we have to get 3,119 for above moderate income families. So that's where we are lacking in Santa Maria. The housing table is from the 2024 General Plan Annual Report. The green column on the left is our RENA, which is the current, and the units permitted for 2023 and 2024, and the total remaining RENA units in each category on the right. We've already exceeded our low requirement of 536 units, and they know what we need to do, and we know how we can do it. Though anytime you hear me speaking on the radio, I'm always talking about the mandates that come down from the state. So Greg, you can pay attention to me now, that we want to build. We have the political will to build. We're going to have 30,000, 40,000 people moving here to Santa Maria. We have to be able to accommodate those. And so it's very important. But the mandates that come down from the state are not allowing us local control. Our neighborhoods are so full of cars up and down the streets because there's no place for them to park. So all the loss of neighborhoods that's happening in Santa Maria, it's not just happening in Santa Maria, but throughout the state. It's very important to Santa Maria. We want to dictate our future on how we build. As I said, many people are moving to Santa Maria. Our population is estimated at 112,000, but it's likely much larger. But 25 years ago, we were at 77,000 people. So we've grown by 34,000 people since then. Officially, 1 in every 4 residents of Santa Barbara County lives in Santa Maria. And many of our people live in Santa Maria, but are working in San Luis Obispo or working in Santa Barbara. So in the next 20 years, we're going to add 30,000 to 40,000 people. A growing city population can be beneficial because it indicates economic vitality, increased tax revenue, and a more vibrant community. However, it presents challenges, such as the need for improved infrastructure and services to accommodate more residents. Right now, we're moving closer to approving our general plan, which has taken us about 5 years and lots of money. And it's the blueprint for growth for the next 20 years. But of all the meetings we've had in the city, and a lot of you I've seen there at these meetings, it's really important for your input on what we want and how we want Santa Maria to grow. Along with the projects already approved, plus infill development, we're proposing the annexation of 1,000 acres east of Highway 101. We've been working the general plan, as I said, for 5 years, and we are going to be submitting to LAFCO our proposal for annexation. And I hear people say, no, we want to build up, we don't want to build out. In the city of Santa Maria, we do not have the room. When you're talking about just schools, so if you're building say an elementary school, it takes 8 to 12 acres. We'll need 8 of those. That's 96 acres. When you talk about a junior high, a junior high takes 20 to 25 acres. And have 3 of those, that's 75 acres. When you take in the policy we have for parks, we say we want 5 acres per 1,000 people. That comes up to 810 acres. So when you add just parks and schools, that comes up to a lot of 810 acres altogether. But where are you going to put commercial? Where are you going to put the fire stations? And where are you going to put the residents? These are all things that we have to answer, and we have to be able to dictate as how Santa Maria is going to grow and how we want it to grow in our community. We have a great police department. If you've never been there, to go in there, and we get like 90,000 calls per service each year. And we respond to about 1,900 traffic accidents annually. crime is down, but we're still understaffed in our police department. And I'll tell you one thing that's down is motor vehicle theft is way down. We've got cameras that help us keep the crime down, but at one time, I think we were the highest in motor vehicle in the theft in the state of California. We have the fire department that was $18.4 million in actual expenditures in 2021, and now it's $28 million. So this is all public safety, and this is our number one commitment to the people in Santa Maria. Roads, we all want good roads, and Mr. Fulgoni will be talking to you about that. He could spend hours talking to you about, but he doesn't have that much time. But we're looking at doing traffic signals, we're looking at building roundabouts, and we want to make Santa Maria the place that is so desirable to live, work, and play. And we look forward to all of your cooperation with our residents, our businesses, local developers, and partner agencies. And now I have the privilege of introducing our Director of Community Development, Shannon Dow, and I thank you very much.
As the mayor touched on, we are into the final stretch for our general plan update. This process started in 2020, and we are looking to accommodate 16,140 units, more than 58,000 new residents, and more than 23,000 jobs here in the city of Santa Maria. This illustrates the zoning that is going to be proposed as part of the general plan update, and the red hash marks show where the annexation area is proposed. And you'll ask, how on earth are we going to fit all of that into this area? Well, the math is mathing. So we looked at 5,600 units are already in the development pipeline today. You might recognize some names like Blosser Ranch and some of these other projects. Here we show Bellcrest and the Park Edge mixed use. All of these are entitled and they are going through the development review process today. Additionally, approximately 19% of the land in the existing city limits is vacant. So that equates to a little over 2,700 acres. And on top of that, we have the 985-acre annexation. So with all of that math, we have proposed the current annexation as part of the general plan update and look forward to future growth in Santa Maria's future. Downtown revitalization. We have 12 projects in the pipeline. These equate to over 134,000 square feet of commercial that will be developed or redeveloped, including some of the projects that the mayor touched on, and 1,022 new housing units within the downtown specific plan. Now, I count myself as incredibly fortunate because this process started under the leadership of the mayor and the Planning Commission back in 2015 with the adoption of the Downtown Specific Plan. Since then, our planning staff like Chun Wu and Dana Eady, who are in the audience tonight, have done massive amounts of work to help the rubber meet the road and make projects happen. And I got to come here in 2025 when all these things are coming to life. So here we have the Gateway Mixed Use Project. This was the first project within the downtown revitalization that has 18 units over Efrons and some other commercial on the bottom. Next up, we just recently broke ground on the Fallas renovation. It was once a Mervyn's, then a Fallas. Now it's going to be over 100 units of market rate lofts for the residents who need housing in our community. Also, as the mayor touched on, the Sears is being renovated. So these are some images, some snapshots of what you can expect to see once that's complete, and they expect to open within the next 6 months or so. And finally, we issued a downtown permit for the Perlman Apartments. This is going to be 150 units of deed-restricted affordable housing for families right at Main and Broadway. Again, adding new housing, answering that need for our local families. Additionally, we've gotten a great deal of feedback from the development community. It's no secret that interest rates are through the roof and financing is more challenging today than it was 5 years ago when many of these projects today were contemplated. So we are looking for new ways to generate economic development and to help our development community. One of our first projects we've implemented is these two programs. Both are community facilities district programs that make it easier for developers to close the gap on their projects. One is the BOLD program offered through the CMFA, and the other is the SKIP program offered through the CSCDA. Both are statewide programs. They can fund a number of items, including streets and sidewalks, sewer and water treatment capacity, water and sewer lines, flood control, parks and open space, street lights, school facilities, development impact fees, and more. So it is our hope and expectation that these will help close the gap for developers who are just looking for that little bit of extra funding. These are low-interest loans. You're able to issue public bonds. So if any of you in the audience are developers tonight and would like to learn more about this program, please give me a call after the meeting. With that, I'll hand it over to our illustrious Public Works Director, Brett Fulgoni.
Hi, good evening. Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Brett Fulgoni. Appreciate everyone being here tonight. So I've got a couple of exclusive reveals this evening. This is actually a project we're looking at Better Avian 101. It's a Measure A and developer-funded project that is named in the investment plan with Measure A and SB-CAG. And these are the two conceptual designs that we're studying with Caltrans and that we'll begin doing public engagement on to see what the best outcome is for the community here. So we'll create a new loop for Better Avia on-ramp to 101 North and hopefully prepare us for expansion points east. Here's the 101-135 reveal. These are two concepts that we'll have moving forward to Caltrans into public outreach and environmental review. And this is at the north side of town. It's about a $75 million project funded through developer impact fees and Measure A dollars. And it's been in the works for a number of years. It was named project in the Measure A investment plan. And we're finally going to see our light of day here in about 2030, and we'll be under construction once the 101 is complete in Santa Barbara. A little bit about pavement maintenance. You've seen a lot of the work we've been doing around town, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the approach that we've taken recently that we maybe haven't always done. So you can see here where we have a travel lane that's more or less beaten up and rough, and the bike lanes are in pretty good shape. The parking areas are in pretty good shape because all the traffic travels right down that travel lane. And so what we try to do is we try to pave the travel lane. And the paving on this travel lane costs about $5 to $6 a square foot. And then we like to come over it and chip seal it. What we're doing now, and the reason everybody has been backed up, is because of this project, which is our chip seal project. And so this costs us about 55 cents a foot to do. We've done about 80 lane miles with this project, and a lot on our major arterials and collectors, which handle most of our traffic. And so we're really trying to prioritize where we put our dollars in each road. And it makes a lot more sense to put the money in the road where people travel and to then cover it up with a cheaper solution to coat the rest of the roadway. We've been able to do a lot more work with this approach. And I also want to thank everybody for their patience. Thank you for not throwing rocks at me with all the traffic that we've seen lately. So this is how we make decisions on roads. If your road isn't done, it's likely coming. We price everything out. We look at our available funding. We look at our gas tax dollars. The gas tax dollars are actually paying for the chip seal. There's Measure A dollars that go into this as well, along with some other funding sources in the city. And we analyze each road and we try to figure out, okay, how can we get it done? How can we reduce the amount of square footage that we're working on? And eventually just try to get you a good road. We're working on the developer impact fee program. We're working on that update at the moment. Our next public meeting is in November, early November. That'll be our 4th public meeting. We started in a July reveal. After about 2 years of work, we released a fee of about $56,000 for a 2,000 square foot house. And our current fee is about $22,000 per 2,000 square foot house. And then we've taken a lot of input from the development community and the community as a whole. We've re-released a fee just a couple of weeks ago that pegs us around $38,000 for a 2,000 square foot house. And then notably on the 1,000 square foot restaurant, the fee would drop from about $57,000 to $34,000. So we're doing what we can to try to keep these fees down, but these fees are important to pay for infrastructure as the city grows. We've heard a lot about growth tonight, and it's important that we maintain city services the same way we would with the growth. It's got to stay in pace, and this is how we do that. Here's a quick graph about smart transit that's also within Public Works. We are now 100% electric. We've gotten a lot of grants over the last few years. We're the second city in the U.S. to be 100% electric with our bus fleet. We do have a backup diesel fleet. It costs us about 25% to run electrical over diesel for for SMART. But we've also seen pretty substantial ridership growth. We've got an improving trend line. This year's numbers are even trending up as well. And so definitely proud of our transit team. We've got a route going to San Luis Obispo now. We've got consolidation happening with Guadalupe and with the routes in San Ynez Valley and Solvang, just to try to make it easier for Santa Marians to move around and for us to become truly regional. And with that, Mr. Shad Springer.
Thank you, Brett. I appreciate that. As the slide indicates, I'm Shad Springer. I'm the Director of Utilities for the City of Santa Maria. I've been with the city almost 19 years now, been in utilities 11 years. So the Utilities Department is split into 3 divisions, 2 heavy operating divisions, Water Resources and Solid Waste, and then it's supported by the Business Services Division, and that handles the financials and the personnel. In order to provide services for the City of Santa Maria, we have about 130 employees and operate on about $100 million a year in revenue. So the services we provide include wastewater, and that includes a collection system that is comprised of 260 miles of sewer collection lines, and as you can imagine, there's quite a few manholes associated with that. And those sewer miles are cleaned and jet rotted each year to reduce the opportunity for sewer backup and that sort of thing. That sewer is eventually collected to the wastewater treatment plant, where we treat on average a little over 6 million gallons per day on average throughout the year. On the drinking water side, we have production. That includes both groundwater wells and state water supply. We currently have 6 operating groundwater wells, and the city has an entitlement to over 17,000 acre-foot of state water. That is to meet an annual demand of somewhere between 12 and 13,000 acre-foot per year for the community. Once we produce the water, then we have to send it through the distribution system. About 350 miles of pipeline there, and importantly for Chief Dandridge, who will be speaking later, there are also 3,600 fire hydrants that we maintain and have ready for service in the community. That is for about 23,000 residential accounts in the city of Santa Maria. On the solid waste side, about the same number of customer accounts. It varies a little bit based on apartments versus regular single-family residential. But our collections crew operate 6 days a week. We last year collected about 70,000 tons of trash throughout the community, 10,000 tons of recycling, and 8,600 tons of organics or green waste. At the landfill itself, we buried about 150,000 tons of materials last year. And we have a recycle park, which is kind of the last chance, and we were able to put 85,000 tons to diversion. That includes various types of reuse, or if you come out to the landfill and bring white goods, the metal is recycled and that sort of thing. So we've talked a little bit about growth this evening and a growing community. So there are several projects that are important for the future of the community. One is the wastewater treatment plant. Several years ago, we were contacted by the Regional Water Quality Control Board that we had to enroll in a new general permit. Our existing wastewater plant cannot meet the effluent discharge requirements of that new permit, so it drove the city to update its wastewater master plan and develop a project that will comply with the effluent limits set on us by the Regional Water Quality Control Board. And importantly, it'll also provide capacity for continued growth for the additional 40,000 residents that we've been talking about over the next 30 years. This will be a significant project for the city. Current estimates are in the $500 million range. On the water side, we're talking about meeting new needs for new residents. While we're seeing significant conservation, and I will say that the water provided to the community is still in the range of the population we were serving in the late 80s and early 90s. Through conservation and the low flow toilets that I don't know about your parents, but my dad complains about constantly, we are seeing less water demand in the community, and while we continue to grow, we're not seeing significant increase in demand. However, to meet our growth needs and for local resilience, we are drilling the first water well that the city has drilled in over 30 years. So that is currently going on through approval by City Council. We are also connecting an existing well that was separated when the city connected to the State Water Project nearly 30 years ago, and we've already begun siting for the next groundwater well. So while the city holds significant and extensive groundwater rights in the basin, it's important that we be able to put those rights to use through groundwater wells and put them into the distribution system. We also have some important projects on the solid waste side of the house, and this is mostly due to the Deputy Director in Solid Waste wanting to be part of the show this evening, so I do have a couple of projects to mention for LUDA. So we have a couple of requirements. The organics diversion that the mayor mentioned, the city implemented that in January of this year. That's to comply with SB 1383, and as if you're a customer with the city of Santa Maria, you know that we roll out the gray bin and the green bin every week and the blue bin every other week. That was a significant change for us from where we were historically. So we appreciate everyone doing that. We are sending out new calendars on that again this year. If you have a catchy slogan, I don't know. There's got to be something. I don't know what it is, like green and gray every day, blue every two. Then people are like, do I put my trash can out every day? And anyway, I think you've got it figured out now. I do apologize as we rolled that out because it was a shift from something we've been doing for the previous 30 years. But we're getting the hang of it now. That did require years of preparation to go to once a week. The lead time on a trash truck that you're seeing there right now is in the 18 to 24 month range. On top of that, we had to hire drivers, get them trained, get up to speed. So it did take some time, so we are excited that we were able to get that rolled out at the start of this year. Importantly, also at the landfill, we do have disposal operations there that I discussed. The historic organics that were placed in the landfill generate methane gas. That's been determined to be a significant contributor to greenhouse gas. So it's important that we collect that gas and utilize it. So there are a couple of purposes that we use it at the landfill. We work with a third party. The gas is collected. It's ran through a reciprocating motor and generates electricity that goes back to the grid. So there is beneficial reuse that way. And then also through a third party, it runs through a gas line to Marion Medical, where it's used for cogen. So it's used there to generate heat for boilers, for their chillers and their boilers, and then also to generate electricity. So we are excited about the opportunity that in Santa Maria we can put what would normally be something flared off to good use. That being said, it was important to us to meet compliance with new air quality regulations when those motors go down, or if there's more generation. We did complete a landfill gas flare project this last year that allows us to meet air pollution control district requirements for consuming that gas if need be. And then lastly, with respect to the landfill, this year we were able to complete Cell 1 Phase 2, an expansion of the existing landfill site. An important investment for the community. It allows us to continue to extend the life of the existing landfill at the site. There are a lot of sunk costs already at the landfill, the buildings, the scale house, the landfill gas flare I just talked about, where our collections fleet happens, the maintenance and that sort of thing. So being able to extend the life at the existing site is the most cost-effective way for us to continue to serve the community for solid waste. With that, I will turn it over to Chief Williams, our Chief of Police.
Good evening, everyone. Excuse me. Who thought that talking about trash collection would be so interesting and humorous? My name is Christopher Williams, and I'm your Santa Maria Police Chief. And I've been asked to talk for a few minutes about community engagement, traffic issues, specifically parking and homelessness. As a mayor had spoke earlier about our crime rate trending down over the last several years, I felt it was important to talk about some of the reasons why. And one of the most important reasons why is the community trust and the partnership that we have between the Santa Maria Police Department. We've been able to bridge that gap and form a trust with our community that we continue to do, and we know it's something that needs continuous work. So we continue to work on our efforts with the community, including investing in our Police Explorers, which is a youth program for our youth in Santa Maria for ages 14 to 21, and getting them engaged in what activities the police department participate in, and hopefully to get them to eventually, when they're old enough and are finished with school, to join the police department. We put a lot of emphasis in our partnership with our youth in our schools, and it's such a valuable asset to have school resource officers on our campuses, one, to keep our students safe, our teachers and faculty safe, but also to use that opportunity to mentor our youth, let them know that the police department is there for them, police officers are there for them to make sure that they're safe and inspire them to continue on with their greatness. We engage in a lot of signature events throughout the year with our community, including National Night Out, which we had back in August at the Fair Park, and we had record numbers. I think the estimate attendance was over 6,000 people. We include a lot of CBOs, or community-based organizations, a lot of our partner governmental agencies, such as the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department, our very own Santa Maria Fire Department, and a lot of other governmental agencies, because we want the community to come out for not only a night of fun, because we did have a lot of events, including a DJ and some music, but we want them to engage with each other as a community, because when you are able to come together and meet your neighbors and meet the people that protect and serve you in your community, you're able to form that bond and that friendship. Other signature events that we participate in is Coffee with a Cop. You'll see us on social media put out events and locations that we'll be at. Something new that we started after I got hired is a circuit with coffee with your civic leaders, including City Manager Dave Rollins, Fire Chief Brad Danridge, and myself. So you'll see those. If you don't already follow us on social media, I strongly encourage you, whether it be on Instagram or Facebook, you can see all the different activities that we do. I'm proud to announce that we are able to put together 3 Citizens Academies throughout the year for our community to come and spend 2 months with us once a week, learn all the different tasks and units that we have within the police department, learn about what police officers do, what our professional staff do to help support you in the community and make our community stronger and better. This past Saturday, we had our 2nd annual Cops and Cars event at the police department. The mayor briefly mentioned it. Again, record attendance. It was just another great, wholesome community event. And I had heard after the fact that there was a competing interest that did a car show at the Fair Park, and I was really honored to hear that several of these car clubs actually favored to come to the police department's car show to support it, because really it's one of our signature events that we raise funds so that we can do shopping with a cop. We have scholarships for different youth groups and our Explorer program. So it was great to see everybody show up and help support our community. In a couple of weeks, I believe it's on the 29th of October, we'll have our annual Trunk or Treat, which is a phenomenal event. We'll have a haunted house, all free to the public. I hear that some of our community members that are used to having trick-or-treaters come to their house and hand out candy, that they're not getting many because a lot of people are going to the police department and get their fill, and I think their parents are cutting them off and not letting them go out on Halloween. So it's definitely a safe event. I encourage everyone to come out and engage with us, have conversations with us, and get to know us, because we aren't just your police department. We're here to be your community members. And I put our slogan that you probably seen on your Santa Maria police cars, and it says, "Our community, your police." And it's not just lettering that we put on our vehicles, but we truly mean it. We truly believe that it is our community and your police department, and we want to be transparent and be available for you all so that you can engage with us and help make us stronger and better Santa Maria. I want to touch a little bit on parking. I have this graphic up here from 2020 to 2025. As you can see, we've had over 8,000 calls for service since 2020. the number of issued citation, we do understand the issues with parking, and we're trying to address it. The citations being issued has increased up to 2025 year to date at just over 1,900 citations. Homelessness, we get a lot of complaints about homelessness. We have a full-time unit, our community services unit, that addresses this, and this is total calls for service that we've received into our communications center from 2020 to 2025. And there is a slight decrease, although because for 2025 we're still in it, we have a few months, we think it'll probably be equal or exceed a little bit from our 2024 statistics. And then our cleanup count, we have been tracking it the last 2 years. We continue to make it a priority because we want to make Santa Maria safe and clean. And with that, I thank you for your time, and I'd like to introduce the Fire Chief, Brad Danridge.
Thank you, Chief Williams. Welcome, everyone. It's a privilege to speak to you today as we look at the state of the city and the future of public safety in Santa Maria. Over the past few years, our city has grown not only in population, but in complexity, diversity, and responsibility. The work of the Santa Maria Fire Department reflects that growth. We have built for now, but we've also built with a future clearly in mind. Today, the Santa Maria Fire Department proudly serves a population of roughly 110,000 residents, covering more than 23 square miles. We operate from 6 fire stations, including our specialized aircraft rescue and firefighting unit that protects the Santa Maria Airport and its expanding operations. Santa Maria Fire Department is the busiest fire department in the county. In 2024, our department responded to over 12,400 incidents, a 15% increase from 3 years prior, which equated to over an additional 1,500 calls for emergency services. This is a reflection of both our city's size and our community's growing needs. Among those were nearly 500 related fire incidents. Remaining incidents were medical aids, hazardous materials, rescues, and public service calls. Each number in that total represents someone in need, someone's family, business, or home, and our crews met that need with professionalism, compassion, and readiness. 2025 has been a transformational year for the fire department in the city of Santa Maria. We celebrated the opening of Fire Station 6, a major investment that strengthened coverage to our southern and western portions of our city. With Station 6 and its new engine now in service, our response times have improved and our operational reach is stronger than ever before. We also transitioned to a regional fire communications center known as the RFCC, a partnership with all county fire departments that integrates Santa Maria with regional dispatch resources. This RFCC operates under a boundary drop model wherein the closest and most appropriate resource is dispatched to all emergency incidents. This allows us to send the closest available unit to an emergency regardless of jurisdiction, improving both speed and coordination across the county. Beyond Response 2025 marked the introduction also of the Genesis Evacuation Program. This Genesis Evacuation System is a map-based software platform supporting rapid all-hazard emergency coordination and public information mapping. During emergencies, this map shows real-time information on evacuations, shelter-in-place orders, shelter locations, and road closures. This allows our residents of Santa Maria to receive targeted evacuation alerts based on real-time conditions. This new technology directly supports our mission to protect life and property in a rapidly changing emergency environment. We also continue to invest in prevention because the safest fire is the one that never starts. The past year, we filled vacancies in the fire inspector's position and launched a comprehensive inspection schedule for every commercial property in the city. These inspections ensure that businesses, schools, and public spaces remain safe and compliant with evolving codes. Our efforts were recognized when we improved our Insurance Service Office ISO rating from a 3.3x to a 2.2x, placing us among the top performing departments nationwide. This improvement doesn't just reflect better fire protection, it could also lower insurance costs for our residents and businesses across the city. Looking towards 2025 and beyond, Santa Maria continues to grow eastward, upward, and outward. The population is projected to grow 30 to 40,000 in the next 20 years. To meet that growth, we're focusing on several major projects. The expansion of Fire Station 1 to better accommodate modern apparatus and staffing needs with the approved downtown development. The relocation of Fire Station 2, strategically positioned near La Brea and Blosser to reduce response times in a high-demand area. And the early development of a new fire station east of the 101, ensuring that as our city expands, our coverage and readiness expand with it. All of this aligns with our 2024 master plan, which continues to guide us, how we allocate resources, deploy personnel, and plan for the next decade of growth. Our response maps tell the story visually. A few years ago, our coverage showed gaps, especially in the southern portion of our city. Now with Engine 6 fully operational and our auto aid partnerships active, those gaps have closed. Response times are improving, coordination is sharper, and our readiness, our ability to respond quickly and effectively to any emergency is stronger than ever. As we continue to evolve, one principle remains constant: readiness. We're ensuring that staffing remains adequate, that apparatus is strategically placed to match real-world demand, and that our prevention and training programs prepare us for the full spectrum of emergencies, from structural fires to natural disasters to complex medical incidents. We also continue our auto aid agreements with neighboring agencies, reinforcing that public safety doesn't stop at city borders. When one community calls, we all respond, because that's what partnership and preparedness looks like. In every upgrade, every plan, and every call we respond to, our mission is simple: to protect the lives and property of those who live, work, and visit Santa Maria. As we look ahead, we stand not only as responders, but as planners, problem solvers, and neighbors, building a department that reflects the values and strength of the community we serve. Together with the continued support from our mayor, council, and city manager, we'll keep building for now and the future. And with that, I'd like to introduce our city manager, David Rowlands.
All right, thanks you. Good afternoon. It is an honor to stand before you today to reflect on our journey, our challenges, and the bright future that lies ahead for Santa Maria. Before I begin, I'd like to recognize Madam Mayor Patino, Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo, Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez, Councilmember Flores, Councilmember Soto, for your leadership. In addition, Allan Hancock College for hosting the event, and the Santa Maria Valley Chamber of Commerce. First and foremost, I want to emphasize the importance of integrity in our local government. Integrity is the foundation upon which we build trust with our community. It is our commitment to transparency and accountability that ensures we serve you, the people and businesses of Santa Maria, with the respect and dedication you deserve. At the heart of our city are our people who call Santa Maria home. You are the lifeblood of our community, and your resilience and spirit inspire us every day. Whether you are a longtime resident or new to our city or a business owner, your contributions shape our future. As we look into the future, we must also acknowledge the reality of our tight budget. Economic challenges have tested our resolve. However, they have also pushed us to be more resourceful and innovative. We are committed to making every dollar count, prioritizing essential services, and investing in projects that will yield long-term benefits for our community. Our expenditure continues to exceed our funding. We are overextended. This has been going on for many years. The council adopted a $408 million total budget in June of 2025. The general fund and Measure U is $148 million of that total. We are facing a $25 million budget shortfall in our general fund and Measure U budgets, and we are working to resolve that issue starting now through the next fiscal year beginning July 1st of 2026. The $25 million represents 17% of the general fund and Measure U budget. As mentioned earlier, public safety is the City Council's top priority. It receives 59% of the combined general fund and Measure U appropriations, totaling $88 million. Public safety is police, fire. It also includes the city rangers and code enforcement. Our service levels remain intact for now. The City Council, me, and the department directors are looking at service levels and options. We are continuing our hiring chill policy, requiring justification and analysis before any vacancy may be filled by a department. Through this process, the city will continue to engage in analysis to seek efficiencies in operations and only fill positions identified as critical need to perform essential functions. The city is in a budget reduction mode and is not in a financial position to expand programs or increase operational cost. By working collaboratively, we can navigate these financial constraints while still delivering the quality of life that our residents expect and deserve. As the largest city along the Central Coast, we should only accept the best, requiring development and building designs to be the highest quality. City Council adopted objective design standards after extensive public review process earlier this year. These include architecture, site design, landscaping expectations, breaking up roof lines with articulation, etc. Here's an example we're talking about. This here is a wonderful Family Dollar store. This is what they typically send to you. This is from another jurisdiction I worked in. This came across my desk. I sent it back to our planning department. This will not be built in our city. This is a Family Dollar that we got built by talking to the developer. This is now turned into a red engine brewery and pizza place. It's on the main drag in town, but again, it looks nothing like the last picture you had seen. In addition, we also want to have high quality, affordable housing built in our community. We don't want the simple cinder blocks, white building, 3 or 4 stories tall. We wanted something that the residents who were there would be proud of calling home. Since they don't have a lot to begin with, we wanted to make sure that happened. Here's an example of what we worked with our developers. This here is an affordable housing project right here, and this is the other half of it moving forward. So again, a lot of color, a lot of brightness, a lot of joy out there with the Boys and Girls Club to have a center out there. These are things we can do is work together with developers to require high design standards. Innovation will be our guiding light as we transition into a new beginning for Santa Maria. We are exploring new technologies and creative solutions to enhance our city services, improve infrastructure, and promote sustainability. We are committed to embracing the future while preserving the character and charm that makes Santa Maria unique. Together, we can harness the power of innovation to create a city that is not only functional, but also forward-thinking. Home to Space Force headquarters, corporate headquarters, and think about it, a regional medical complex to serve this area. As we stand on the brink of this new beginning, let us envision a city of the future. A Santa Maria that is vibrant, sustainable, and inclusive. A city that attracts businesses and fosters economic growth while preserving our natural resources. These elements include continuing integration of smart technologies that can automate city services, such as traffic management, waste collection, energy distribution, and creating more efficient living spaces. Emphasize rapid transit, autonomous vehicles, bike sharing and car sharing programs to reduce traffic congestion and lower environmental impacts. Balance urbanism with nature, green roofs, urban gardens, and green spaces. Create accessible public spaces, affordable home ownership, and foster interaction between citizens. Together, we will build a community that reflects our values and our aspirations, ensuring that Santa Maria remains a place we are proud to call home. In closing, I want to express my gratitude to each of you for your commitment to our city. Together, we will navigate the challenges ahead, embrace innovation, and create a brighter future for the city of Santa Maria. Thank you very much.